Why is there such a massive emphasis on being of service to others when we really take a look at our spiritual journey? Now, this is not a new age concept that's just popped up because you're going through a spiritual awakening journey. But if you take a look at the core teachings through various traditions, cultures, and religions, you will find a core message that is echoing through all of them. And spiritual teachers and mystics have always taught the way and pathway of service because it, one, pleases the divine, and two, it helps you on your own inner journey. So in this video, I really want to talk about these teachings so you can have the clarity to really understand what that true calling is when it comes to being of service. Now, service is actually way more than an act of charity or just, volunteer work. A lot of people think of service as being those things, which, it's not that that's not service, but it is beyond that. Any act towards another person that is done through love truly can be a key way of serving others, because you're allowing yourself to be that vessel through which that, the love of the divine can really move through you for the benefit of others. And in doing so, you are working towards that goal of oneness, towards unity with others. You are learning to have compassion for everyone and everything, understanding that even though if you can't see it yet in your 3D, that is truly the goal. And you will get to a point where once you go within, you will recognize that you are not separate from anything, because that is just an illusion. So whether, you're helping a person across the street or your neighbor or somebody you don't really even like or know, it is understanding that there is no difference between you and that other person. And essentially helping somebody else is helping the divine and helping your own self for that matter. And there is nothing more that, is more pleasing to the Father, to the divine, than when we actually help other people that cross our path. Now, I really want to emphasize 3 key reasons why you want to incorporate, being of service to other people somehow, some way on your spiritual journey. Now, the first reason is that being of service to others is who you are at the soul level. And unity is your reality, is your truth. And so when you go through an ego death and, that dissolves for you, you are now yearning fulfillment that doesn't come from pleasing your own self, living in your ego. It will not help you to define your own identity anymore, because that all seems useless. What you want to do as you're working with that inward journey is you now want to help other people. You want to change and transform other people's lives in whichever way you can. And so as you do this, as you work towards that, it brings you fulfillment, it brings you closer to love, and it brings you closer to the divine. So that is definitely one reason why you want to make sure that you are doing something in the external reality while you are here that aligns you with that inner truth. It really helps to reaffirm that truth that you are seeking on your inward journey, and really helps to recreate that on the outside as well, because it just brings you closer and closer to that goal that you're truly working towards. Second reason that you really want to incorporate service somewhere on your journey and really working towards helping people is because it invokes divine grace. When you help to uplift somebody else, when you help to expand their consciousness, when you help them to realign on their own journey, you become that river, you become that bridge, connecting them to the upward path, the inner path, and also, just helping them evolve as a human being in somehow, some way. Showing that compassion to them earns you the divine's grace on your own inward journey. And it comes with, of course, good karma as well. But truly, that is not the reason you want to do it. You want to do it. This is, of course, the, outcome of being of service to others. But understanding, and saints and mystics always teach this, is that you want your service to be selfless, not seeking anything in return, because then we are moving towards ego and the self. If I, conduct acts of service to help other people with that intention in mind that, oh, this is going to really expand my own journey, then I've lost the true intention of love along the way. So you want to come from a place of presence, come from a place of love. And in doing so and not really wanting anything in return, you end up earning divine grace anyway. Now, reason number 3, and probably the most important, is that as you serve other people, you are becoming a key component of the awakening that's taking place right now in the 3D. If you take a look at the, confusion among identities across the world, you take a look at how much people are feeling lost and divided, stuck in the chaos, stuck in the confusion, and really experiencing a lot of, ache and turmoil. If you are able to light up somebody else's path, you are able to, really help them out in some way, show them that compassion coming from that place of unity, you are able to truly make a change in this world. And imagine that you only help one person, but that one person goes on with that change that you created in them and in their life, goes on to help another 5, and that those 5 go on to create and help other 5 people. That can create a massive ripple effect across the earth in terms of leading people to really, embark upon their own awakening journey and their own evolution of their consciousness, which is why we're all here in the first place. So there is nothing more greater at this time for, than to really step up and help other people. Now, while I say that, I've said this in my other videos, and I will say this again, and this is a word of caution as well from various teachers, from various, gurus, that we should not at any point in time be losing our own way. If we think that outward service is all that we need to do, and then we don't focus on our own inward journey, then truly we're not fulfilling the task that is needed. We must be, moving towards our own inward journey, making sure we're working to expand our own consciousness. And then if we are also able to help other people, then that is really where we want to be, to help accelerate our awakening journey and to help other people along the way. Now, the last thing I really want to say about being of service is that we always want to check back with our own self about why it is we're doing what we're doing. If at any point in time you find that your, purpose for what you're doing has turned towards greed or has turned towards ego about the self, then we're losing the intention that we were doing service for in the first place. Service is really meant to be for other people. It's meant to be done in love. And if that intention is no longer aligned, then we're not meeting our whole intention, our goal for why we started to do what we were doing in the first place. So making sure that we keep back aligning with that thought, with that presence, especially if we're still working towards our inward journey as we are also being of service. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. God bless.